record on this computer. Ladies, ready? Ready?
I can't be more
You
ready
ready?
than now, baby.
Shit. All right,
Even
let's
if
do
I'm
this.
not, pull the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
All right. What's going What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first edition of the Dudeality podcast, where living comfortably uncomfortable is our motto. We appreciate you joining us today as we discuss starting the new year with your best foot forward. My name is Ian Perez. Along with me is Victor Rivera, Chris Zora, and Jonathan Mercado. We're just four
What's up?
ordinary dudes with extraordinary dreams. So
Yes,
I'm going
sir.
to kick it off to your host, Jay Merck.
What's up, fam?
Jay
bam?
Merck, yeah, I like that. Jay
Jay
Merck.
Merck. Merking them.
I got to
That's
I
make
dig it.
nicknames for everybody.
I dig it.
Start my own
So-
nickname too, man.
Before we jump into the topic and get all that good stuff happening, let's just go ahead and let's dial it back real quick. How was y'all's holidays?
It was great, man. I'll kick it off a little bit, but it was great. Kind of spending with the family, really, like most people, right? Especially during this time, it's hard to go somewhere. But it was good. Spending with the family. My wife did this humongous cheese board. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Man, I saw that. Say it.
Like,
Just say it, bro.
Charcuterie
I pronounce it
board.
caricature. I know that's not how you pronounce
Just
it.
say it. There you go.
But
We
it
know
was
what you mean.
a little wine, a little something there.
Did
And,
everyone stay up?
For
I
what, for
did.
New Year's? Yeah.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I stayed up, but yeah, I was pretty tired. I had worked that whole day, but I got it done.
For sure, man. I mean, for some reason, I was just on a bad schedule. It's a holiday schedule, so I stayed up. Normally, I'm not gonna lie. Normally, it's hard for me to stay up, but since I was just running off a bad schedule, I was like 1 minute till I was like, "Is it New Year's?" And then I hear the countdown. Like that was So that was the New Year's Eve for me. But Ian, what happened over there?
We partied out, man. I had
Yeah.
me some water, some Dr. Pepper, some juices
Ooh.
were being thrown around. I had to play video games to stay out
wow.
because if I sat down and watched the movie, I would have passed out. But it was good. It was good to finally put 2020 in the dump behind in the past. But it was good for me, man.
Speaking of 2020, like, and we were kind of discussing this the other day, but I think we should reflect a little bit, not on the negative, because everyone has definitely been talking about the negative. I mean, me included, because there was a lot of negative last year, but we should take a second to think about the positives. Like for me personally, in my environment, I've seen people be able to buy homes because the interest rates are so low. I saw people be able to get a new car, saw people get married, people expecting children, as some of you guys know. But yeah, so there was a lot of benefits too, and I hope people don't forget about that when they think of 2020. It wasn't all bad.
Yeah. I was a victim of Netflix and chill a little too much, and now
It was a
and
lot.
now we're about almost 4 or 5 weeks out from our fifth boy.
Congrats,
Wow.
bro. It's
No,
great,
four.
man.
I'm
you have a
tripping.
starting five.
Four. I got so many kids. My fourth boy. Yeah. So hey, 2020 was a pivotal year. Every year is, no matter what happens, every year is gonna have its struggles. And so definitely this year, I went into the cave, much needed for me to develop and grow and, hit that adversity like everyone else, but, come out strong, right? And so adversity is good. Adversity is great. As long as you can get out of there and pivot and make an adjustment, right? And so that's where you guys come in. That's where the accountability comes in. That's where people around you come in, right? Because everyone has those peaks and valleys, everyone. And it's super important to make sure you have the right people in the right spots to help you get out and help you see things that you can't see. So 2020, we dig a little bit more, but it was just a pivotal year, just like every year for growth.
Absolutely. Preaching right now. But yeah, I think you mentioned a word which is like pivot. Like I swear that's part of like the theme of like the whole year is like, how did you pivot? Did you make changes? You do something different, right? So definitely positives for me. Later half of the year, it kind of started rough when everything hit, COVID hit, and everything. It was kind of hitting everyone business wise. Jay knows, but it was like you had to like turn around and do crazy things.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but kind of later part of the year, I think I hit my stride from a business standpoint, and then personal finances. I paid a couple of loans off, so that was good. So definitely, kind of to Chris's point, a lot of positives, a lot of ups and downs, but definitely looking at the cup. What is it? Halfway full, right?
Yeah.
And so, for sure.
Ian, what you got, my man?
For 2020 or 2021?
2020, baby.
2020.
Let's not act like it didn't happen. Give me some positives.
I went from 2019 to 2021. No, positives. I'm expecting my baby girl, my second one, actually. So that's
Congrats,
definitely a
homie.
blessing.
Congrats.
Congrats.
I'm
That
excited.
Netflix and chill.
I'm
God,
nervous. There's a lot of COVID babies are popping, but you can't blame us. We didn't have nothing else
Dude,
to do.
COVID babies, that's gonna be a thing, bro. That's gonna be a
Nothing else to
thing.
do.
We to copyright that right now. Every
but,
time someone uses COVID baby on any type of media, we getting money.
Yeah, TM trademark. I went through some peaks and valleys this year. I had a rough spot for, I would probably say, the majority of the summer. I doubted myself as a man, as a father, a contributor to my family. And in that, I actually always been a religious man, but I lost my way off the path, and I think this year kind of kicked me back into it. So I did the simple things. I bought myself a Bible. I got myself an app. I looked up instead of down to help find resolutions in my problems. I saw some strengths in myself. I found strengths in my wife and in my daughter. My daughter did virtual learning all year. I know for a fact that when I did virtual for college as a young adult, I couldn't do it. So there's a lot of positives that I found in my family alone from 2020. So it's been a blessing.
Man, speaking of kids,
Good stuff.
the development to have these kids start virtual laptops, all that stuff, learning how to, build their own schedule, learning how to ask for help when their parents, like, because, that could be a miscommunication with the kids, is them, reaching out for help. Like some kids naturally have it, and some kids, they'll just sit there and not know what to do and, really have that struggle of asking for help. So those are my kids. Like, they'll be the last ones to ask for help, and they'll just kind of sit there. And so, the growth for them to actually just pivot, like not us just pivot, but for them to pivot and for them to stay positive and to make the best of the situation and grow from it. I love it. Like my kids kind of learn how to be little entrepreneurs a tad bit, how to kind of work on their own schedule. And so I enjoy that aspect, but I did, being in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I did not enjoy them in the house all day.
I bet.
Oh my God. These dudes in the refrigerator eating the house up. If anything, that cost me majority of my money is those dudes just in the fridge.
Bro,
Yeah, they got big kids, so
at least 2 bills.
13-year-old.
I got one teenager. That's it. So
put a lock on that fridge, a passcode.
a passcode. Rational. Yeah.
Chris, we got some highlights. With real estate.
Big money.
Yep.
We started a business. What's the business called, Chris?
We are called Vision Board Investments.
Oh,
say it again. Yeah.
Say it again.
Vision Board Investments.
Man, and we
base in it.
Yeah.
I say with some swag there,
And so we are currently in the process of purchasing our first investment building in Chicago. And man, I'm super nervous, super excited. And something I always tell my kids, if you're nervous or a little afraid to do it, you're in the right spot. Like you kind of know you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
I just had to tell my son the other day, we're riding his bike. He's 9 and he doesn't know how to jump a curve. And I didn't even notice. Every time we go down the curb, he'll get off his bike and walk it down. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, hey, like to me, it's just natural. Just jump the curb. And he, like, once again, he doesn't ask for help. He doesn't tell you he's afraid, but you can see his body language. And he's riding and he's going slower and slower. He hits the grass before he hits the curb and he stops. And I was like, oh, we got a problem. And so right now reading the Warrior Kid about confidence, doing things that you're kind of afraid of, just kind of do it anyway. I was like, listen, son, I know you're afraid, but I promise you, if you just do it one time, you're not gonna fall. Like I can almost guarantee, I've never ever in my entire life seen a kid fall from the curb off the bike. So if he did it, then I would feel so bad. But I told him, I was like, hey, I absolutely never in my entire life seen anybody fall. So I would feel like so much like crap if he failed because of that though, because I told him how much confidence and nobody's ever failed before, he did it. And then he did it again. And then now he's cool. Like he's like, first he was teary-eyed, but now he's cool. Like he got over it. So, and I had to preach again, right? I'm always trying to give those lessons. So if you're kind of scared to do it, you kind of know you're in the right spot. That's what growth, like that's what that growth is. And, you know, speaking of the spot podcast, you know, I think about it more often. And so a little lesson learned for him. He's in the right spot. He did it. He overcame it. And now he's like, cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
Not
lied
getting
to
over
your-
that fear.
You lied to your son because I definitely fell going on the curb. And
Bro,
off the curb.
I was hoping he didn't fall because he would have looked at me like,
I know I've seen people fall too, but I wasn't going to say anything. But you brought it up first. So.
if they fell, they should have.
I never
I was
fell.
always
It's just
a
like,
chubby
you know, when
kid, so-
sometimes when you like hit the curb and then you hit a little too hard on the ground, you're like my butt hurts a little bit.
Yo,
but I'm
I
good
told
to
him, hey,
go.
lift your butt up. Like, lift your butt up. Come on now.
Hey, you'll still get a nut shot from the back. It don't feel good.
He's not. I'll play. All right. So let's just go ahead and dwindle in it just a tad bit. The topic is how to start with your best foot forward in 2021, right? I think we're all looking to leave 2020 behind. And how can we start fresh? Like, what can we do different to make sure that this year starts off strong and keep that stride going, right? And so what this podcast is all about, guys, is self-development. We're implementing in our own lives. So there's 4 different perspectives here. There's 4 different lifestyles here. And so what we're going to do is going to, get a perspective from each and every single one of us. And then we might challenge each other because that's exactly what friends should do, guys. Like, number one, if your friends don't challenge you, you need to grab some friends that challenge almost everything you say so that we can grow together. Don't let them sugarcoat it. Like, I'm very blunt. No emotions involved because we're all trying to grow. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to challenge each other. We're going to wrap it around, try to make it applicable for not just the listeners, but for us, because this is our journey. Like, this is us learning, and we're just putting the mic in our face and the camera. Like, that's it. We're learning together. So hopefully anybody listening could take a little bit of what we learned and be like, oh, let it spike your curiosity. And then you go challenge us. That's like the whole goal. Let me spike some curiosity and you go do some own research, and hopefully you can progress as well. And so who wants to pop it off? How do you start with your best foot forward?
I was thinking about that. I mean, I was thinking about this podcast and the topic and stuff we discussed, and just thinking about, looking forward 2021, where we'll have like these huge goals, things we want to achieve, things like that. But best foot forward is really like, how do you set yourself up? That's, to me, it was like, how do I set myself up for success for the rest of the year, right? So that's kind of what in my mind was like, what do I need to do right now in this first 30 days, let's say, just put a number on it, right? To have success, to reach or get me towards the path towards reaching the goal that I want to reach, right?
Is this what you're doing right now for yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
So 30 days. 30 days.
Yeah, I just put a number on it.
All right.
And so definitely don't procrastinate. It's 30 days, right? Obviously want to get sooner than later, but really like be specific about it. And if you know me, I like to plan like a lot of things. So the more plan I do, the more specific I get, the better I execute things. And so for me is having, say, my best foot forward. How do I plan? How do I set myself up for success for the next few months? So right now I started very small, like what's important to me. I was like, I put a list of things that are important to me. Boom. All right. That's there. And then, what are my whys, like, for what I want to do? And then what are my goals? Right. So, so going through that process right now. Again, I want to be very specific. Before it was like very general, right? And now it's like I want to be very specific I'm reading books and things like that are kind of like opening my mind a little bit to where I need to do. So I think this, for me, more specific, the better. So I can, again, then execute, knowing exactly, right, what I need to do.
Victor's personality is coming out. The Planner is going to be his nickname.
Dude, I got this journal thing.
The Planner. He's getting detailed. He's clarifying his
we need
message.
to call this man either Atlas or Apollo because he's looking at the oceans, the stars, just picking it up, getting going. That's awesome.
Crazy, but yeah, I mean, learning from past experiences, right? You kind of get a sense of like, hey, this kind of went right, this didn't, but what was different? So definitely want to start the year, kind of spend the time, don't like fast through it, right? Really do the reps in, put in the research, the time to really,
asking the questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What you got? Who up? Chris got the black and white going on the video. I got to remember when we speak, some of our listeners are just listening and they're not on the YouTube. So got to make sure that I clarify what's going on between these videos. What's up, Chris? Talk to me. How are you gonna start with your best foot forward?
Well, I mean, Victor kind of stole some of my stuff, but I mean, that's all good. Yeah, like I really want to focus on the self-development part of things, just because I was doing pretty good with it late 2019. I was focused. I probably read 5 or 6, maybe 7 books, and then I just kind of dropped off. So I just want to get back to at least trying to read at least 1 book a month. Just keep growing, just learning. So and like
your approach is the foundation.
Yeah.
You're strengthening the foundation. So when you do build, when you do
building that, yeah.
Okay.
Building that consistency as well. And then like also with the whole real estate thing, just need to get back to that, like just going through my notes, going through videos that we've been watching, just learning and just keep continuing to grow, just learn, and then applying that. I mean, you can learn all you want, but if you don't apply it, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, not one thing. So hey, Chris the learner, he's putting a little nugget, learning, being open-minded, willing to grow. Now, Mr. Sexy Voice himself, Ian.
Let me get some water. 2021. Self-dev, getting back on the book reading. I think the last book that I fully read from front to back was like July, August. So I kind of fell off. And just reflecting on the year, I think what I want to change, and is probably my biggest problem, is staying consistent. I always start with a really good step, like first step, but it's that 5th step where I turn my ankle on the curb and I just stop.
Let me stop you there. You have a good 40-yard dash,
which is weird because I'm like 250, so I'm a good sprinter.
Okay? You're a good sprinter when it comes to goals. It's from knowing you for the past almost 5 years.
Yeah,
you're a good sprinter.
I plan it well, so I'm a little bit of mix of like Victor, maybe some Chris, maybe a little bit of Jonathan, but not so much on the consistency piece. So I have really good ideas, and some of them stay in my head, which doesn't really help me, and others I start, but then I think I get so discouraged that the results aren't there up front that I stop myself because I'm doubting myself, when in reality, I mean, we've listened to different podcasts. An example being ET talks about rate yourself from 1 to 10, and I could be a 3, but there's 1s and 2s that I'm missing from helping, where I think I need to be like a 7, 8, or 9 to actually help somebody, which is false. Because me just being me can help somebody, and I think that's another thing. Being like this podcast is kind of keeping me accountable and making.
You're helping us right now, baby. You're helping us right now.
Exactly. So, short term, saving money. This baby girl ain't gonna be cheap. I'm kind of taking a page from work. Is a 30, 60, 90 plan. You have goals that you want to complete in 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. So short term, money for daughter. Mid-range, I'm going to lose weight because I can't be heavy holding a baby and my body. And then 90 days, kind of circle back up, see what I didn't do, and then create another 90-day plan from there.
Nice, man. So creating different
Cool.
plans, different goals. And so if you don't know me, if you do know me, I'm a forever learner. I'm a forever student. And I'm always questioning everything and, always being curious and asking the why question. And so 2020 hit me deep, hit me real deep, right? Because all I've seen for the past 4 years as being an entrepreneur is a lot of growth, and then realizing that it wasn't happening; it was going the other way around. And so I had to re-engineer I had to re-engineer my playbook because my playbook is not working anymore. And I can be like everyone else. That sounds familiar. Like everybody has these New Year resolutions. They have that same goal that kind of peeps up every year, right? It's that one goal that, hey, I'm gonna get it this time. I just need to go harder. I'm gonna get it this time. I just need more willpower. I got close last time. I'm gonna keep trying it again, right? Everybody has that one goal, right? It's always there. It pops up every year. You get super excited. This is your year. It's 2021. Everyone's hyped up, right? And so that's how I was. It worked before, I could do it again. It worked before, I do it again. And it's not working. You gotta stop. You gotta ask yourself why. Why isn't this working? And so I want to throw a monkey wrench into everyone and challenge everyone, including myself, because I had to do this myself. And I want to paint the picture first. And it's going to be a little bit of interactive with you guys. So I'm going to go to the store and buy a piece of furniture, right? And it's the furniture that you have to bring home and build. So I bring it home. What's my first step? It's interactive. I'm asking y'all. I'm asking
My
y'all.
bad.
Hold
Read the
on, you already
instructions.
have it home, right?
Yeah, I'm at home, baby. I'm at home. I open up the box and I got to build this furniture. My wife's like, I need it up tonight.
Oh,
Look at the instructions.
Boom. We're going to look at the instructions, right? That's number one. I got to make sure I know what I'm doing. What's the second step? What's next? I looked over the instructions. I'm like, all right, what's
you need
next?
tools. You need some tools to do it.
Bro, I need some tools to do it, right? I need some tools to get the job done. And guess what? If I don't have some of these tools, am I going to be able to build this furniture? I mean, I could try, right? I mean, I can definitely do what I can, but I don't
down
have
that night.
right. So, hey, maybe I do have some tools, right? And I can do what I can, but it may not be right, right? And so let me tie this back. So that piece of furniture is your goal. And then that instructions is your plan, right? Everyone kind of needs to have a plan with that goal. I think majority of the people, it's common sense. I got to have a plan for this goal. I just can't set that goal and then not do anything because it's just a wish at that point, right? So the majority of the people have a plan. Now, the second part is the tools. This is what people, including myself, like this is what I learned because I have to go through it myself, is that maybe the tools that I have aren't going to get this job done.
That's
so
right,
the tools that I have can't get this job done, but you don't know that because you never stopped to look at the tools that you have available for your life. Is it even possible with the tools that I have to get this goal done? And nobody ever stops because people want to rely on, I'll try harder. It's going to be different. Some kind of excuse to make you feel like this is your year. So the monkey wrench is, how do you start with your best foot forward? You take a couple steps back. And you have to. And you have to reevaluate your tool belt. Everyone has a tool belt. Everyone has gifts, strengths, weaknesses. And some people have tools that are missing. And those tools that you possibly could be missing could be the key to actually build and execute your goal. And so what does evaluate mean? And that means I need to self-assess. I need to look at my tool belt and I need to understand, Jonathan, what are your strengths? Like what tools are sharp on your belt? What tools are dull? And what tools are missing? Because without these tools, no matter how bad I want to achieve this goal, it's not going to happen. And if you don't ever step back and look and evaluate why you're not getting something done, you're going to be hitting the same wall every single time and just saying, I need to try harder. Try hard is not the answer. You got to really step back. And so we had this discussion before, like nothing's rehearsed, but I like to throw in nuggets. And, I want to be sure that we all self-assess and figure out what tools need to be sharpened, what tools are missing. And so what is tools sharpens? Those are your gifts. What are your gifts? Do you know what your gifts are? You need to figure that out. What are your strengths? You have to figure that out. What tools are dull? They said those are your weaknesses. Majority of the people are going to tell you, you don't focus on your weaknesses. You lean in on your strengths. So what am I going to do with those dull tools? Maybe I call a friend who's those dual tools are my friend. Those are his gifts. He can come bring me the sharp tools and we can work this thing out together. And the tools that are missing, I can call another friend, or the tools that are dual, I just do some self-development and they become sharp. Like, so you have choices. And so I recommend stepping back because it's hard to see some awareness that you suck. Like, I'm just going to call it out. You suck and you don't even know it. And you don't have the right friends around you to tell you suck because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And so I'm in a good place where I have people that tell me I suck and I need that. Like, even my wife, I put her in a position to give me the truth because I can't sugarcoat it or else it's not going to take us and my family to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you said, you said a lot on that as far as, a lot of things you can expand on for like hours on end, I think. But definitely, I kind of feel you on that, having to step back and kind of self-assess, evaluate your toolbox. Like what are your strengths? What do you need improvement on? And what resources you can reach out to? What can you do to improve that toolbox so then you can then confidently, right, go to war and try to get those goals, right?
Get to work. Each goal requires a certain set of tools. Point blank, period. Do you have the right tools for this goal?
Yeah. So
you probably don't if it's on your top of the list every year. Like, so stop.
Right.
Like, let's stop. Let's re-engineer. Let's take it back and let's figure out why. Like, I always just want to say why.
I've been rocking dad bod for like 10 years. I mean, I've only had kids for like 9. So it should tell you that tool of mine it's not even dull. It's not even there. Like, it's just a hole. I dropped it somewhere.
So hey, this brings me back. Ian, we had a conversation. I told Ian, I don't want to talk about it until the freaking podcast, dude.
Uh-oh.
Ian gave me with the cliche, I want to lose 25 pounds in 6 months, whatever. He gave me like a date, right?
4 months.
Yeah, almost. Was it 4 months?
Little girl comes in April.
Yeah. And so like, I totally get that like it's clarity. You have a date, you have specific what your goal, like that's a goal. But if it's always on top, something's wrong. Right. And so that's where we go to Chris, and we need to do a little bit more self-development because you got some tools that need to be sharpened. Right. So instead of focusing on the result, I got to lose 25 pounds. Hey, let's go granular and let's focus on the foundation. Let's focus on the process. Let's focus on the process. Let's set these many goals of consistency and habits and detail. What are you doing every day that's going to make sure we touch that one specific thing that's going to help you get to that 25 pounds? But we're not going to worry about that 25 pounds. I'm going to worry about on today and then tomorrow and then the next day. And then if you just stay consistent long enough, when you look up, you're like, damn, there goes 25 pounds. It's gone because we were so focused on the process. Yeah. And so that goes for anybody that's listening. If you have a weight loss goal or just any goal at all, throw that result out the window, become a student, learn the game of that goal, make sure you have the right tools, and then get to work. Let's get to work.
Yeah, man, the process. I think that's something that, like you said, any goal you have, fall in love with the process, not the end result. Like, you fall in love with the process, the result will come. And so
And fall in love with the process. I mean, you have to learn the game.
Yeah.
And that's an acquisition phase. And I think everyone that's pursuing this first goal, or whatever the case may be, it's an acquisition phase because it requires a new version of you. And that new version of you requires, you're gonna have to let some shit go in your day to now become a new version to get this goal done. Like you have to change something. You can't do the same thing and still try to achieve this goal. Like some things have to change. You gotta let some things go, and it's going to be an acquisition, just like you starting a new job and learning. Like us going to virtual and learning, like everyone struggled, everyone hated it. Everyone was like, but then it died down because the people who stayed strong and just stayed positive and went through that acquisition phase, they got it down a lot quicker, and then now it's smooth running. But some people on the acquisition phase, the first month where everything's new and you're learning, they'll die down because they won't power through. Y'all remember that one picture where that guy's hitting the rock and there's two different dudes hitting the rock?
Ooh,
and that one dude quits and he's like a centimeter away from hitting the goal, and the other guy just got one more strike. That guy gave up. He was going through that hard, rough phase, that patch where I'm just struggling. Like I've been at it for hours. Nothing's really happening. And you just got to get it through the other side. Like just get through that struggle, because on the other side, it gets a little bit smoother. I promise. It's not going to be the struggle the rest of your life, but there has to be that struggle for you to get there. The sooner you realize it's going to be a struggle and you can see the tunnel, you can see the vision, you'll get there eventually. Just stay focused. Stay focused.
You just have to have that perseverance.
And that's a habit. And so the more you quit becomes a habit, and you're never going to get through that acquisition phase. Nobody's ever going to get past that 6 weeks becoming the new year, right? Everyone knows the first 6 weeks, what happens?
The gyms are packed.
True. They die down, right? The first 6 weeks, everyone's motivated, everyone's on the grind. And then 6 weeks hit, bro. It's like clockwork. All those people that quit, it was a habit because they quit last year. And it's a habit because that muscle memory of quitting, it's strong. It's like 30 years deep, 40 years deep. And all they had to do was just wait another 4 weeks to get past the acquisition phase. And now they built a different habit. Man.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That's for sure. For everyone listening, man, it's that last piece is you gotta train new muscles, man. Train new muscles. Fall in love with the process, you know.
I'm learning myself. Like, hey, I may be saying it because I can see it, but I'm gonna be straight honest. Actually doing it is extremely, extremely hard. I'm not gonna lie. And this is why we have this. We have these 4 guys on here, because that accountability is deep. It runs deep. Because if I was doing this by myself, it's been proven I won't make it. I have to have accountability. I got to put myself in a position where I'm not just relying on me. These guys are relying on me. They're relying on me. I'm relying on them to make this work. And so this is why this podcast was created. Is so we can learn and apply. Because if I could talk it. I read so much, I could talk it, but I was just the talker. I wasn't the doer. It sounds so good to talk about it, but in the dark, I wasn't really getting anything done.
I agree. I was the same way. Like I talked about a lot of things. I talked about the real estate. I talked about this, but I never applied it. I mean, I would start it and then I would stop, just like you're talking about. But now I'm more determined than ever. And this podcast is going to be great for us to see, like 6 months down the road, a year down the road, just to see how much we've grown and see just how each of us has progressed through all the struggles, all the accomplishments that we do get.
For sure. I'm excited for the growth. Like, so anybody listening, we're not saying we know it all at all. We're not experts in anywhere. We're just 4 ordinary dudes with some big dreams. I wanted to cuss, but I need to tone it down some, which is we got some big dreams. And
yes, I'm just kidding.
You know what? They're not going to happen if we don't grow. Like I've never heard or read a biography where there wasn't some kind of growth and questioning everything and learning. And so I'm always willing to put my pride to the side, which is the hardest thing. And I think that's what I'm learning in 2021. I want to put my pride to the side, and I need to reach out, and I need to make sure I still have those people that are going to throat check me and tell me how it is, because I can get the talking, bro. And you know what? You know what's funny? Speaking of me getting to talking, y'all know I love to talk. I was in the car with Desi. I was in the car with Desi, and she gave me a throat check. And it's so hard to swallow because you want to come up with excuses and bump the excuses. I was talking about the podcast, right? I was super pumped up, getting excited, like, yo, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be learning, growing. I'm so hyped. I'm so ready. And she's all like, bro, you haven't even posted about it.
Busted.
You know you know what the excuse I was about to say? I wanted to wait until the first episode was done. Oh my God. See, this is why I love my woman, because quit being scared and freaking do it. Like, you talking a big talk, quit being scared because you're being scared. And you know what? I was being scared.
Hey, I think we all are, man. I think we all are. I don't think any of us want to look
you
dumb.
know-
Like we want to
Why
do
you
good.
think
We want to
that?
put
The
on a
only
good
thing-
show.
The only
know
things that I
what?
posted were pictures. It wasn't even of me. It was words and the logo. I didn't jump on and like say anything. So I think we were all kind of
Yeah.
excited and scared and then nervous.
What's our motto? Somebody tell the motto.
Comfortably uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Yep. But you know what? I think just doing that, it puts like, I don't know, it puts like more fire in us to like, because me and Jay know a lot of people. We get just through our business. So it's crazy. Everyone's gonna be curious. More of curiosity, right? But,
Yep. So this is what made me so scared. And I call it out because I may seem confident, but I'm really not. I don't think there's ever such thing as a confident person. But the way I showcase myself, it seems like it's a very confident person. And it's not. This is why we're starting this podcast. So you can, like, we're just four ordinary dudes. Like, we're not special in any kind of way. And so for anybody listening that wants to do something that's scared, like, I'm shaking because I'm scared. And you can hopefully relate and maybe go do it, because we're not doing anything special. We're just doing it. And that's what it takes to get things done. You just got to do it. Like, you're going to be scared. You're going to be scared. There's no other way around it. You're not going to meet anybody that's not scared. They just do it anyways. Right. And about the being scared, I told you guys, I'm in fitness. I'm the fitness dude. I love nutrition. I think that's my PowerPoint. And me is nutrition. I won't post on public pages because I see these people that do it all the time about nutrition. And to me, they're so confident and they do it to a high level, and their vocabulary. If you know me, my vocabulary, it's not great. I mispronounce words. I use wrong words like all the time. And you're going to see that. Like, that's something that I didn't want to do a podcast because of that. And same thing with, me posting about my nutrition is I won't do it because I feel like these people are tens and experts, and I wasn't thinking of myself as an expert, and I still don't do it. So that's something that I need to work on. And being around sharks like me and Victor, we're in a business where there's high level executors in our business. There's high level business thinkers, which is very inspiring, and which is why we are where we are, and we're moving forward and we're growing. But if I don't want them listening to this podcast and like judging, like, what is he doing? Like, in his business, he's like a 5 or a 6, and I'm like a 10. Like, I didn't want that judgment, but you got to do it anyways.
Yeah, I think that's what the podcast is going to be. Like, I think what Chris was saying, how are we going to, like, 6 months down the line, you can see a development of all of us. All right. I think one of the fears for me doing the podcast was just like afraid of, like, I guess, getting exposed and being like, you're like, they're talking like the experts, but what are they really doing?
Yeah.
Can they walk the walk type of thing? So
We're not experts, baby.
We're
And that's part of being vulnerable, is accepting that we're never, ever going to be experts. There's never an arrival ever. But like Ian said, if you're a 5, there's 1s and 2s that need your help. And so we're providing a service while we are learning at the exact same time.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
my mission statement is to motivate, encourage, and inspire people to go after their dreams and never stop dreaming. And so this goes straight into alignment, because while I'm learning to do that myself, I know somebody else out there has that same mission, and they're not making the moves. And so hopefully they can see this and be like, this dude's scared of my mind just like me, but he's doing it anyways. And I'm still like, I don't know if you can hear my voice, but my legs are shaking as I'm speaking because I'm scared. I'm nervous.
Yeah. And I definitely feel you on that. And to your point, I don't think we're not even trying to be the gurus, the pros, the tens. Like we're literally, we made this in reality, we made this for ourselves to keep each other accountable.
Yeah.
And this is really just like a video diary of like our journey. Like y'all are, I think we're all dipping into real estate investing. There's fitness. There's just the 9 to 5 job. There's a bunch of different things in our picture, and we just want everybody else to see the picture, because it may start looking kind of wonky and colors everywhere, but then it turned into an abstract photo that's worth $1 million, right? So no pros. We're just hoping that our journey can help somebody start.
We're just learning.
Yup,
That's
yup.
it. We're learning.
Yeah, for me, it's like I was scared to do this just because I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not. Sometimes, I mean, my wife tells me that all the time, and I just go cry in my closet and curl up in a ball and just cry myself to sleep. I'm just like, but yeah, I mean, she does really tell me that I'm not a good storyteller,
I get that too.
and I know I'm not the greatest speaker. Like, I mean, I'm articulate, like I can think of the good words, but it just doesn't come out the way I want it to.
See,
So that's
got the
one of my
words.
things that I'm trying to grow. Yeah, so we're like the opposite. Like you love to talk, like you're good at talking, but you don't have the words. Like I'm the opposite.
I can't even pronounce the words. So to imagine me having a podcast, I wanted to do YouTube before YouTube was cool. Bought the camera, bought that $800 camera, whatever. And I didn't, because the way I spoke, my vocabulary is weak. My tooth, like I had a lot of excuses to not, and I didn't, right? I could have done it. I could be 10 million subs because of fitness if I would just done and not been as scared. Like that could have been a real thing, because now that I'm watching the same people when I was going to start, they're living that, rich and famous and glamorous little lifestyle with Lambos and whatnot have you. And that's something that they deserve, because they had the courage to do it anyways. And that's something that I'm just now picking up after 5 years, 6, 7 years. Like, dog, can you just imagine if I just had what I have now? But I can't think about that because I'm doing it now. Like, let's do it anyways. Do it anyways, mindset. I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says do it anyways.
That's that analysis paralysis. You just keep thinking about it. You say you're gonna do it. You look into it, but then you just freeze up.
So, hey, I know we don't want to, make this podcast 5 hours long. So let's make things applicable. All right. Let's make it tangible. Let's give something that people can actually really start their best foot forward. And, I don't recommend taking a step at all. Let's take 2 steps back. And I need you to make a list of your gifts, your talents, your strengths. What are you strong at? Write it down. Then right next to that, write down, what are your passions? Write that down. Like, what do you really love? Like, what do you really value? Because they're 2 different things. Like your gifts and your talents, something you're just naturally good at. And then your passions are just like, hey, what do you love? What do you value? Your family, your career, your religion, basketball. It's just something that all 4 of us here, we play together. And maybe one day you'll get to see me cross these people up, but
Never.
Write down your passions. Okay. And then you also need to write down things that you don't like to do. So that's real clarity. That's part of the hardest one, is you got to really know your gifts are your sharp tools. You got to know your weaknesses, things that you don't like to operate in. I'll give an example for me. I don't like to be put on the spot. I don't like detail. I'm very big picture. I hate detail, which is why I got Mr. Vic here. I hate detail. What else? I don't like to be put on the spot. Like, I made a list. I have it. I should have brought it out, but just those are the things I don't like to do. Okay, guys. And so write down a list of things you don't like to do. Those are your dual tools. You can either learn to develop them just a little bit, right? You need to lean more on your gifts, but you just need to know your tools that you have, so that way you can work with the tools that you have, maybe add more tools, sharpen the tools, or find people, put them in the right spot to help you achieve that goal. And so just self evaluate. Those are the three things I recommend. And I also recommend doing the wheel of life, right? And if you don't know what the wheel of life is, just go ahead and Google that bad boy. And basically, it is just a pie chart of basically different aspects of life. You know, you have your intellectual self-development, you have your romance, you have your finances, you have your career, you have your family, and rate yourself. Like you're right now, you're drawing your whole picture out, your whole life. Rate yourself at where you are in that context. So for example, um, let's say career 1 through 10, and just going to ask you to rate yourself. Where are you? Where are you at in this? Where would you rate yourself? And you got to be completely honest. And then you're going to fill in this pie chart in every single context. And you're going to be able to just get a good visual of like, where do you spend most of your time at? Like, what's most important to you? And then you're going to be like, wow, like family, I really, really dropping the ball there. And so then that way you can have just a good visual of your life. So that way, when you make your goals, you can kind of bring things up and bring things down that don't really need to be as high as they are. And so self-evaluate, self-evaluate, know who you are, get some clarity, have a mission statement, have some core values. And then when you go and make these goals, you'll have a better chance at winning. And so I don't know if you guys done that, because I hadn't even done it yet. Like I done it 5 years ago, but it needs to be new. Like I need to readjust, and I need to, refine things and have more clarity, because I'm a different person now than I was 5 years ago. And so here's what accountability comes in. I kind of want that to be y'all's homework, because next podcast, I also want to bring it up, because we're here to grow. I'm not here just to speak and talk. And so next podcast, I really want to know your strengths, your passions. I really want to know where you are in your life, including myself. And so that way we can see everyone's strengths and weaknesses and how we can help each other out. And, what's our situation for us to keep moving forward with our best foot. And so anybody listening, I encourage you to do this with us, because we're all going to learn something new about yourself, about ourselves. Yeah.
Yep. 2021, man. It's going to be bigger and better for sure.
I haven't even set my goals yet, because I haven't done myself yet. And is it starting late? Better late than never. Better late than never.
You have to start at some point. Doesn't matter when.
Yes, sir. I think we're at the tail end now.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
Yeah. I mean, we can't give out too many nuggets.
Yeah. I
mean,
mean,
keep them coming back for more.
All night, right? Got to keep it.
What's episode 2? What's the next episode?
What you want?
Huh?
Know what you want.
Know what you want.
Oh, know what you want. I was all like, what for you? What do I want?
What I want, hit a scratch off and get about $250,000. All right.
Know what you want.
That's
okay. So we're gonna tie that. We're gonna tie that together. Get to know who you are, see your tools, and then we're gonna clarify that with know what you want in detail. Right? Don't be so general. So we're gonna actually tie know what you want and steps now. Like now we need to go with little Victor here and, map this thing out, because I'm not a good mapper out. So I'll be probably connecting Victor so we can get more detailed, because I'm not the detailed guy. Does that make sense?
100%. Sweet.
Yep.
So next episode is actual steps, now we can take a step forward. Ooh.
I like it. Well, let's do a round table real quick. Close it out. Jonathan, you got what you doing this week? Goals this week, plans this week?
This week is going back, so me and Victor are franchise owners, and just being super involved with making sure I'm taking care of my business and all aspects of that business. But before I do all that, tomorrow I have to do my self-evaluation. Like I have to, so that way I can start moving forward.
Good plan. Vic, what about you, man? What do you got for the week? Goals, plans?
very similar. Business, kind of all making sure I'm hitting the ground running. Spent a lot of that today, and just kind of prepping and kind of setting myself up. Tomorrow is just continuing that, like step 2. Oh, I have like a list of things that I'm getting done through the week. That and getting through my book I'm reading, and getting through also the real estate course. So busy
Nice.
stuff.
What book are y'all reading? So wrap it up and then also say the book that you're reading because I'm curious.
So the book I'm reading is Millionaire Success Habits.
Habits.
Success
Yeah.
habits.
Nice.
Nice.
So I'm reading that. So as I'm going, I'm like doing stuff, I'm not just reading it and then kind of forget what I read in chapter 1. Like each chapter, I'm like writing down, doing some action items, putting those things to work somehow.
Yeah.
And embedding it in my daily routine or something. So I know I'm doing it.
By the way, guys, we're all holding each other accountable to one book a month minimum. And so, hey, if you're listening out there, you want to join in, I'm pretty sure we're going to create a Facebook page and have some accountability, some interaction. Chris, what you got?
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, my goal is to read at least one book a month, like you just mentioned. So I'm definitely going to get started on that.
Book.
Going to get back on that Think and Grow Rich, actually finish it. I need to start it and restart it and finish it because it's been a while since I started reading it. So I don't really remember everything that's going on. And then I also want to get back into finishing up the website for our real estate business.
Oh,
I
man.
can't wait to see y'all, man. You guys are like paving the way for me and Ian, to be honest with you.
And we're paving the way for ourselves. We have no idea what's happening.
You think I'm scared now?
Luckily, we have people that are going to be helping us out.
Yeah, we got pros on our side, though.
Like, see y'all excitement in your faces and your voice. It's like inspiring too, man. So.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You got Mr. Ian.
This week, real estate course, like Victor, jumping back into a solid habit. I got to get the foundation strong before I can actually get going. And then my 9 to 5, I know I have a billion emails, so a lot of catch up work. I was off all last week and the week before. So
what book? Did you say a book?
No, I don't have a book in mind. I was actually going to pick y'all's brains. So I'll give y'all a text.
Okay, we'll text that.
Or we all send lists to each other. How about that?
I like it. I like
And
it.
then,
Other than that, just family, man. Family.
Before I can set my goals, I have a book about setting goals. It's the 12-week year and how we need to stop setting annual goals and shift our mindset to be more effective. And we'll go on that later, but I need to finish the book. So I'm gonna finish it quick so I can set these goals with the new information that I learned.
Yes, sir. All right, gents. Well, to close it out, everyone listening, just remember, take a step back, take 2 steps back, take 10 steps back, find yourself again, because 2020 was not nice to anybody. So if you lost yourself, find yourself. If you want to make a change, look back, look at what was strong, look at your tools, the dull ones, sharpen it, and then start strong, stay consistent, find a group that's going to help you and help mold you. Yes. Again, we appreciate your time today. If you could do us a favor, leave a comment on what book you're reading or you're going to read. Until next time, though, peace and love.
See you later.